What's up everybody, Nick Brengle here, and today we're talking about 10 pieces of filmmaking gear, accessories, things that I use, that I love, and that I want to recommend to anybody watching. So let's get right into it. I don't want to take up too much time. There's so much awesome gear, so let's do it. So the first item we'll talk about is the clapboard that you saw at the beginning of the video. And the clapboard is used for a bunch of different reasons. Me personally, I use it to keep track of color temperature, what lens I'm using, aperture, any details that are going to help me in post-production, I write on there. Obviously, you want to put the name of the production, and maybe depending on how you're recording your media, you may want to put different things on there as well. It also looks really cool. It's a lot of fun to clap the clapboard, and it syncs up your audio really well. If you're in an environment or a scenario where maybe the microphone is further away from the camera and it's having trouble, picking up the audio signal from the camera. So there's a bunch of different uses for it, but $20, it's easy. It's an easy pickup. So the next piece of gear that's a little more expensive but way less than the big industry standard versions is the wireless follow focus from Tilta, the Nano Nucleus. And you may wonder why you would need something like this. And for a lot of you that are shooting on the Sony Alpha series cameras or Panasonic, maybe you don't. Maybe you are using the autofocus, which is incredible, especially with the upcoming cameras, and that's amazing. But if you move more into cinema lenses or using cinema cameras, you will quickly find that it's pretty much all manual and there's no autofocus. There is autofocus, but it's terrible. You don't want to use it. So the Nano Nucleus is $230, which is like $1,000, $2,000 less than a lot of the systems out there, and it works really, really well. I bought it with my Blackmagic camera, and it's been flawless. It's really nice to have something wireless that I'm making these YouTube videos, and I'm able to dial in the focus with my monitor, and I don't have to get up and keep changing things back and forth, there's no autofocus to keep finding my face, and maybe the computer back here and the flicker and just those little nuances that really help a lot. So I highly recommend this thing. It runs off of one rechargeable AA, and the follow focus that's attached to the lens, that runs off of mini USB, and I have that going right into my V-mount battery, which also powers the camera. So yeah, this is phenomenal little tool. The next piece of gear, which is more on the post-production side, is I'm recommending the Samsung T7 or the T5, which is a solid state drive. It's a tiny little hard drive. I use it to record directly from the Blackmagic, but another use for it is to have a dedicated small drive for individual projects. So for instance, when I shoot these videos, I tend to use one drive. It's a clean white drive. Everything goes onto it, and I work on that project right then. Now, of course, these YouTube videos are pretty rinse and repeat, and the formula is pretty basic. So I'm able to kind of go through a hard drive pretty quick, clean it up, move on to the next video. Now with bigger projects, you're gonna need a bigger hard drive, but typically 500 to a terabyte usually works, and the Samsung drives are around $100, $150, and they're super fast and they're very small, and you can throw them in a drawer. You can, give them to your buddy that you maybe shot a bunch of footage for him or her, and let them, take it and then get it back, because it has a very fast transfer rate. So they're great hard drives. Another one is the SanDisk SSDs, which are about the same size, super thin, really small, and very fast. So they work on USB-C, and they also work with regular USB 2.0, 3.0. So they're they're pretty good. Yeah. Another item that's really important that I know a lot of people have not really invested in is neutral density filters. And there are so many companies out there, from the really inexpensive to the Tiffins and, the Polar Pro that Peter McKinnon put out, and you can spend a lot of money on ND filters. And from my experience, there is some slight difference with the more expensive glass, and a lot of people argue you're putting glass in front of glass, so you should have nice glass in front of that. So but I tend to lean in the middle and a little to the less expensive side. So I do use a few Tiffin filters that are a little more expensive, but I really recommend filters from Gobe, Gobe, and of course all the links will be down below. But their filters range anywhere from $20, $40, $50, and they have a bunch of different sets where you can get a bunch of different variable NDs, or just standard 3-stop, 6-stop, 9-stop NDs, and they're really good quality. But more importantly, when you purchase filters from them, they plant trees, so it's really a win-win for everybody. So yeah. Another really cool tool that's actually a tool is the small rig tool, the Swiss Army basically style little tool. And I got mine from my buddy Caleb Hargett for my birthday last year. One of the best presents ever, because you need this thing everywhere, and it's not just useful with filmmaking, but it can come in handy in a lot of things. But it definitely helps by not having a bunch of different Allen wrenches and weird screwdrivers and things around. It has pretty much everything you need is in that tiny little package, and it's built really, really well. It's like $20, so you need one of those. You need it pretty much. So yeah. Another item that's super inexpensive and will help you a lot for $8 is a foldable white balance card. And a lot of people use different methods to, pull their white balance and figure out the correct color temperature. The white balance card is such an easy way to do that. You can either, do it yourself, or have your subject hold it for a second and you can capture your white balance. There's also some free apps on your phone that you can get that also work pretty well that I've tested. So do some research on that. But for $8, foldable, tiny little thing, and you can get your white balance pretty correct, and that'll save you some time in post and not be so aggravated with your color. So another item that is pretty crucial for me on my actual rig is the Tilta Mini Matte Box, and I'm using it right now. I've been using it since I've had this new setup, and it is right at under $100, and it attaches directly to any lens that you have. It comes with an adapter, and it also has kind of these square seals that fit ND filters. So if you want to move into the bigger pieces of glass that you can just put right in, and sort of you don't have to worry about changing the thread and using a variable ND, you're able to do that as well. And it has one barn door on the top, so it just helps cut out a little more light, especially outside when you're shooting, and maybe from noon to like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. It can help a lot with cutting out any major glare or just harsh light. So yeah, it's built really well. I think it's like carbon fiber or something, I don't know. The next thing is a little light, and you've seen it actually this entire time. It's right behind me over here. It's the Aperture MC, the bicolor RGB Bluetooth extraordinaire. It's freaking awesome. And somebody like me who just doesn't really like using lighting a lot, this light is really cool. It has an app. You could dial in any color that you want. The battery lasts a really long time. It comes with a little rubber diffusion you can put over it. It even has different effects that you can set up on it and use, from like police lights to fireworks. It has a magnet, kind of a low-grade magnet on the back that you can put it wherever it can go, that a magnet will allow it to just suction right to it. So, or magnetize to it. Yeah, so that comes in right around $90, and you can get that And it's just a good throwaway or throw in your bag type of light. It helps with just little accents, or you could use it even as a hair light. Wouldn't recommend using it as a key light. You could, I guess, if you wanted to, but yeah, and it charges USB-C, and it charges really, really fast. So yeah, it's a cool light. Since we're talking about lights, we'll talk about another light. Months and months back, I talked about Godox or Godox or Godox, whatever you want to call it. And they sort of have come along behind Aperture and really marketed their lights to be the same, if not, just as good as the Aperture series that everybody loves. And I recently got the VL150. And we're using it right now with the Aperture lantern dome that's right above me. And it's a pretty awesome light. The color is just amazing from it. It does a really good job of keeping the proper skin tones, and it's very, very bright. So you can light up an entire room, no problem, and you can shape it and do whatever you want. It comes with its own carrying case, pretty much everything that you would get when buying the big Aperture 120Ds or 120Ds to 150, whatever they are, the big Aperture lights. It's the exact same thing. Has the Bowens mount, so you can put the soft box. I have the lantern on right now. Has its own control box, and yeah, I like it a lot so far. And it comes in, it's like half the price, more than half the price of getting an Aperture, the Aperture light. So right under $400, and you have light. So it's a no-brainer if you're really looking to get into having quality light. That's what I would say to do that. Okay, so the last and final item that I will mention is the Phantom LUT pack from Joel Familaro. If you were betting at the beginning of this video that I would mention that, well, whoever you are, you win and the other person loses. So I have to mention that LUT pack because it's phenomenal, and I think it's key to developing the look and feel that you want when you're making videos. Obviously, during this entire video, we have been using LUTs from the Phantom LUT pack. You could, I guess on your own which one it is. But yeah, for $80, you get the entire film look and the ARRI package. So it's a no-brainer. So yeah. So hopefully there was something I talked about that intrigued you that maybe you don't have, or maybe you thinking a little differently about something you were going to purchase or use in your next project. All the links to all of these items will be down below. And of course, if you purchase something from those links, I get a piece of it. It helps me out. But more importantly, if you're subscribed to this channel, thank you very much. I love you. If you're not, and maybe this is your first time coming to my channel, go watch a few other videos. If you like me, if you like the content, please subscribe, hit the like button, drop a comment below. It's all free for you to do, and it really helps me a lot. So yeah, I guess yeah, I'm really trying to get back on track here. So thank you for pushing me, and we're on the road to 2 billion subscribers. Sure. Yeah, so have a good one. Go create something, and yeah.